What up dudes, welcome back. So today we're going to be reviewing the Dyson Airwrap hairdryer and all that comes with it. So it comes in this really cute little leather box, so I'm just going to open it up and show you what's inside. So I have just washed my hair. My hair's been in the towel for about 10 to 15 minutes because it says to use on damp hair, so ooh. Okay, so it comes with the operating manual, so it shows you exactly how to work it. So I'm just going to go ahead and show you what's in the box first of all. So this is the main body of the dryer, and it has a super lovely long lead. I'll write down how long the lead is in the description. Okay, so it comes with your normal hairdryer attachment. I say normal hairdryers do not look like this. It looks like some kind of space device, but it's pretty. It comes with two curlers like this, and obviously if you get the ones for long hair, which I probably should have done, these will be longer barrels. You get two of those because I think one goes around one way and one wraps around the other way, so it depends on the direction of the curl that you want. Why am I still holding this? Also comes with this really cool brush cleaner. How cool is that? So for example, if you're using this attachment in there, this is to give you like big volumized hair and a big bouncy blow dry. If you want to clean that, you just pop it over the top like this and pull it through, and it gets all the little hairs out for you. Cute. And each attachment has got a little, I'm not being funny, but it does look a bit like a nipple, I'm not going to lie. It's got like a little bobble on the top. So this is so your hands don't get hot from holding it. They don't get that hot. And you just pull it off. So on the hairdryer itself, there's a lock and an unlock button. If you push the unlock button down, then you can pull the attachments off. And then it has a paddle brush attachment. This is obviously to smooth your hair and make sure it's as straight as it can possibly be. So I'm going to attempt to have a go at using all the attachments today. I do have a lot of hair, don't worry. Sounds a bit tricky, but we'll be fine. So I'm just going to plug this in. Okay, so as some of you will know, the Dyson Airwrap is a pretty pricey product. It retails at around $449, and the reason it's so expensive is because it uses a drying technique called the Coanda technique. If you look it up on the Dyson website, it tells you all about it, but it's basically using less heat because it doesn't get over 150 degrees, which is good for my hair because my hair is bleached within an inch of its life. Apparently it does something with the air on the surface of the dryer that dries your hair fast but without using a lot of heat, so it uses a bit more air. Anyway, science schmience, let's give it a go. So as some of you will know from watching my other video, I always brush my hair in the shower when my conditioner's on, because then it gets into all the hair cuticles, you don't miss any hairs. But because my hair's quite dry where it's bleached, I always put coconut oil on the ends of my hair. If you can use unrefined, organic, cold pressed, pure coconut oil, then it's much better for your hair. We're just going to take a little amount, and then we're just going to rub it into the ends of our hair. This is just going to protect my ends from breaking before I do any kind of styling. I know it says that it's only 150 degrees, but still, it's quite high. We're going to be touching other parts of our hair that we might not want the coconut oil on, so I'm just going to go wash my hands now. Okay, so to make it fair, I'm going to part my hair down the middle. This is why it's important to wash your hands, because if you're going to be parting your hair, like the Red Sea, you don't want it to be greasy, do you? Okay, so before styling, what I always do, even if I let my hair dry naturally, is I'm just going to go over my roots quickly with a normal hairdryer attachment. This is because when I tend to style my hair, when my hair's so thick, it doesn't really get to the head, if that makes sense. And I don't like my hair to be styled and then my roots to be damp. So I always just have a really, really quick go over of the roots, just for 2 minutes, just to make sure that the roots are completely dry. Okay, so we're going to pop on our normal hairdryer attachment. It has 4 little pins on the side that pop into the 4 holes on the hairdryer attachment. Don't know if you can see that. So just going to pop that on. Now it will lock into place, so it will not come off unless you press the unlock button. So here we have the on button. When it turns off, it does a weird little vibrate-y thing. It's like, I'm off now. Then we have 3 heat settings here. So the hottest, the middle, and then cool. We also have a little blue button here on the on button, and This means that when you have it on, if you push it up, it gives you a blast of cold air. And make sure you are using the non-pink side. The pink side means it's the back, the grey side is the front. Okay, so now I'm going to fairly divide my hair into 4 sections so that each section has the same amount of hair in to make it fair with the 4 attachments that I'm going to be using today. There's different types of Dyson kits. Some of them have a few more attachments, some of them have a few less. So it really does depend on the kit you get. So I'm just dividing my hair into 2, like you normally would if you do bunches or pigtails. And then I'm going to go from slightly behind the crown of my head here, about 1 centimetre behind my ear. Yeah, they feel about the same. As you normally would, I'm going to section my hair. I'm going to start from the bottom. I'm not going to sing again, don't worry. And then I'm going to section the middle and then the top. Okay, so for this front section of the hair, I'm going to be using the paddle brush. This is going to hopefully give me a nice straight and sleek look. And what it recommends to do is go underneath like this and outwards, just to get a little bit of volume on the roots. And then obviously to smooth it off, you can turn the brush around and go downwards like this. I'm not a hairdresser, but I have been doing my own hair since I was like 14 years old, so I kind of know what I'm doing, but let's give it a go. And just so you know, I'm using it on the highest setting, so the highest pressure and the highest heat. And that actually didn't feel too hot for my head. I'm just going to see if it works on my fringe. So my fringe is really curly. Let's give that a go. I mean, not bad, really. Obviously, if you don't hold it in place, it kind of flies out the brush. Watch. I think that's not bad for a fringe dry. I'm happy with that. Okay, so PS, my hair is very, very naturally curly. So everyone's hair is completely different, but that will depend on the results of the hairdryer, obviously. So for my hair to be this straight from just hair drying it is actually quite impressive. Halfway, so far so good. We're still quite smooth. Not as smooth as I'd like, but not bad. Okay, the one thing I will say about this attachment is you do have to hold it on your roots a little bit longer than the rest of the hair, because otherwise they're not going to dry. And then if you've got curly hair, you're going to have curly roots and then straight hair. Make sure that each level is dry before you go on to the next part you've separated, because otherwise you're going to get them random curly bits that sneak their way through the straight ones. This is the bit that tends to get the most frizzy for me, because it's obviously always exposed to the elements. It's on the outside, it's on the top. So, let's see. Okay, so that's that front section finished. My hair's quite thick, so that took me about, I don't know, 6 minutes or something to do that front section, because obviously I sectioned it. Still feels a tiny bit damp on the roots, I'm not going to lie. So I will go over them quickly. Takes a while. That's what I'll say. If you've got thick hair, you'll be here a while. It does get quite hot, actually. Yeah, that's hot to touch at the back. If a child touched that, that would be too hot. But unfortunately this one doesn't have a little knobble. That's what I'm going to call it, the knobble. To take off. So I'm just going to quickly take it off. So for this section of the hair, I am going to be using the curlers. This actually wraps your hair around the curler itself in the direction that the curls go. So for example, if I wanted my hair to be curled this way, I would use this one. If I wanted it to be curled that way, I would use the other one. So I'm just going to, instead of sectioning this back bit, I'm just going to take pieces at a time from the front to the back. And obviously, as you can see, my hair is still quite damp, so this should hopefully work quite well. Now I would recommend using the longer barrels for longer hair. Oh, I'm scared. Let's give it a go. Fail. So it sucked it in and it's starting to dry it. Okay, so I've switched it off. Let's have a look. Ooh, that's pretty curly. Wowzers. So the only problem with this is that then I've got all of my root and this part is wet. What I would do is dry the majority of my hair with this one, if I'm going to use these attachments, because otherwise your roots are going to be wet. I guess you have to just make sure that you dry your roots and keep the rest of your ends wet. Okay, I'm going to finish this section. Wish me luck. To be fair, this one's quite fast. I think you only need to hold it on there for about, what, 7 seconds? I think I'm getting the hang of this, you know. It's not as hard as it looks. Okay, so these are very bouncy curls, I'm not going to lie to you. So what I'm going to do is, instead of brushing them out, I'm going to... Oh my god, I missed a bit. Here we go. So instead of brushing them out, I'm going to leave them like that and see if they stay and they don't drop. Bear in mind, obviously, my hair's drier than the average person's. Okay, so that's that side done. So we have the straight, kind of, even though it hasn't completely dried it and my hair's started to do its natural curl. And we have the curly. So let's put those there for a minute. Okay, so now we are going to do this side. This part of my hair is starting to go a little bit drier, so I'm going to do this one quickly. It's still damp, don't worry. For this side, I'm going to be using this round brush. This is the volumizing brush. It's meant to give like a little bit of a bouncy blow dry feel. Probably not as curly, you'd have to really wrap it round to make it curly. But yeah, so I'm going to keep this part out of the way. And then I'm going to use the clip to make it into sections. Because this brush is slightly bigger barreled and it's got more holes in it, as you can see, it does let out a bit more heat and a little bit more air at once. So I'm just going to turn it down 1 notch, because otherwise it gets a bit hot on my head, because the air goes onto the scalp more, if that makes sense. I'm not very good at explaining stuff. So here we go. Okay, so that's the bottom layer of the front section of my hair done. I feel like it dries it slightly faster than the paddle brush, but that's obviously because it's got more holes in, so more air is going to come out obviously, and a lot more bristles as well to separate the hair. I feel like, I don't know which side is softer at the minute. I'll have to see afterwards when they're both completely dry. So I'm just going to do this top section now of the front section. Tip, I tend to curl it under like this, just at the bottom, just to bevel it. Otherwise it kind of just goes like everywhere. You know what I mean? Okay, so as you can see, it's not amazing at getting my hair straight. My roots are still a little bit wavy. They're wanting to wave, wanting a wave. But still, they're not both amazing at getting my hair dead straight. If you've got curly hair, you're really going to need to really section this into small sections. So I don't know if this side is as good at smoothing down as the paddle brush side, but yeah, Anyway, that's dry now, so now we're going to move on to the final section. Hurrah! Okay, so we're on to our last section now. That, as you can see, the arrows are going around the other way. Therefore, my hair will go over the top of the barrel rather than underneath the barrel, which was this side. So let's get our last bit down. Are we still nice and wet? Yes, we are. So like I did with this side, to keep it fair, I'm going to take a small section from the front and work my way to the back and curl as I go along. P.S. I'm turning the volume back up to full for this side. I turned it 1 down for the barrel brush. Just letting you know. Okay, so all 4 sections have been completed now. Mission completed. Now, as you know, some people may not know, but when you curl your hair all the same way, in the same direction, after a while, they kind of tend to go into one big curl. So, if you don't want your hair to do that, you can either brush it through, or you can curl one lot one way and one lot the other way, and then they'll clash against each other, and they won't all turn into one big curl. Doing them all in the same direction is good for if you're doing like a 1940s look, you know, like old-fashioned big curls, like what my grandma used to do, bless her heart. Now we're going to look at all 4 sections now. Okay, so we have the 2 straight front sections. I feel like this side is smoother and this side is slightly more frizzy. I don't know if you can tell. So I think maybe the paddle brush that we used for this side is probably slightly better for my hair. I didn't think it would be. So let's just remove the straight bits so we can look at the curly bits at the back. Now, as you can see, as I said they would, the curls have kind of gone into one curl on this side. I obviously put them on one curl on this side. So yeah, it might be best to separate them. Now what I'm going to do is brush these curls through so you can see what it looks like when the curls are brushed. I think it's quite a nice, like, bouncy blow dry look. The only problem with curling your hair with those is, like I said to you before, your roots are still going to be slightly damp. So unless you're putting the curl all the way to the scalp, it's not going to dry your roots. So make sure you quickly blow dry your roots first, at least 2 inches, and then you can curl your hair. So this is the curls separated on this side with just fingers. That's the curlers. I'm going to leave the curls in pretty much all day today and let you know how I get on later on if they're still in there. I can tell by looking at these that they will stay in. I know they will. If your hair is a lot more natural than mine, so it tends to be soft or dead straight, sorry but the curls ain't going to stay in as long. That's just the way it is. If you're going to get a big chunk of hair like this and try and curl it and your hair's naturally straight, that's going to drop out. If you take a smaller section like this and curl it, it's more likely to stay in because there's less weight on it. So before I go today, the last thing I'm going to do is, someone asked me actually, can you curl your hair if it's completely dry? So say for example, you've gone round all day with your hair straight, you've been to work, whatnot, then you want to have your hair curly for the evening. I'm going to try just a section of my dry, semi-straight hair here and see if the curlers work on completely dry hair. I'm going to use the same one that I used for this side in case it does work, and then obviously it'll all be curly this side. Really, I'm going all out on this review, ain't I? Here we go, let's see. Okay, so as you can see, the front section has just been curled, so it's slightly shorter. That's from completely dry hair. This is from wet hair. Do you know what? I'm impressed with that. So that's my review for today, guys. I hope you've liked it and enjoyed it. Hi guys, just thought I'd give you a quick update. Yes, I have got a filter on my face because my makeup's not as fresh as it was earlier. So the front pieces of hair that I curled when they were dry have dropped out, unfortunately. But the back, the ones that I've curled when it was wet, have stayed. So that just proves if you're going to use the curlers, only use them if your hair is damp or wet, because they will drop out. Whereas the back ones are still really nice and curly, as you can see. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I just wanted to give you an honest feedback of how the curls lasted throughout the day. And if there's anything else you want me to review, just let me know. Ciao!